Torah Or, Parshas Vayera, page Nun Vav, middle of the second column. Okay, now the Rabbi asked the question, Moshe Ben asked the question, Lama Ariyasa, why have you make it? And all Hashem said was, the others didn't complain, but he didn't answer the question. So now the Rabbi explains, why did Hashem, the whole chet, that Golus caused, when already Hashem promised Avram Avinu that he's going to be, the Jews are going to be in Golus. So he says, starts speaking, okay, so Hashem is Shemayim, earth is Oretz, and he said like this, the Pasuk says, Godel Hashem u'mu'ulam ha'ed be'ira l'keinu. So he says, there's ma Godlu Masech Hashem and ma Rabu. See, up till now he's explaining what we learned yesterday, Marabu Masech Hashem means how many infinite creations exist in this world in all aspects of Gashmias, and each one has its grass, has its own mazel, and so on. Okay, so that is Marabu Masech Hashem. Okay, so now he says, in middle, a little bit beyond, a little bit past midway. But when it says Magodlu Masecha, Goy Aloel Misoyenim, that refers to how great, not how many, how great, refers to Malachim and Neshamas. Shemisan Gen Al Hashem, that have enjoyment and godliness. Vein Tainug El Chodem L'Chaveret. In Gan Eden, every tzaddik has a different level of tainug, of pleasure, than the other tzaddik has, because every level is a different level. The higher you are, the more tainug you have. So it's a different level. Like it says, Kamay Merazal, that when Mashiach or lost it, whichever one it is, Hashem is going to give every single tzaddik 310 worlds, like it says, Lahan Chalei Vayesh. The L'chayr ain't a move, and L'chayr is not understood. Why does each tzaddik need, the Mishnah says, all the way at the end of Shas, that Hashem is going to give every single tzaddik, lost lovey, 310 worlds. Question, why he needs so much property? Why in the world does he need 310 worlds? Does he need property? What do you mean? What's this inyan? Hashem is going to give every tzaddik 310 worlds. Like, for what?
310 worlds?
Worlds. Not words. World. Olam. I'm sure what is the reward of the mitzvah? Is I'm shachas einig elyon, bringing down the pleasure from above. Liyasnan misiv hashchina, to enjoy the shchina. V'chol mitzvah yesh la einig b'fnei atzma, and every single mitzvah has a different level of pleasure than another mitzvah does. It's brought down in Swan, by the way. It's interesting. Where does this cheshbon 310 come from? So it said there's 613 mitzvahs plus 7 mitzvahs Rabbanan, there's 620. Keser, half is 620 is Shaya Elemis, is what the Mepharshim at the end Mishnah is over there say, whatever. Not only is every mitzvah different, but every tzaddik is different than his friend. The amount of Ava, Yira, every tzaddik does Torah mitzvahs differently. Huh? I don't know. It says, I don't remember. You have to, the Mishnah say, Ki yesh mispal v'yesh mispal. Some people become affected from this. Some people become affected by this. Lochein oselan chalad al kodesh baruch lan chod tzadik ki kol echod u'moder b'fnei atzmi. Because each one, worlds doesn't mean worlds, it means chambers, so to speak. So every tzaddik is going to have a different chamber, and how much ziv hasoga pratis miuchedes, and the detail of understanding of Elokus, asher masik v'nenu mesanig al Hashem, that he enjoys godliness, b'taynu pratim miyuchad v'nivadol, separate from another tzaddik, because every tzaddik does things differently.
Rabbi, why that number, 300?
Because it's half of the 620. I don't know. You have to. They got the last Mishnah is in Shas. That's what he's saying. The Shai Elamis is a reward for the mitzvahs they did. And because every mitzvah is different, and every tzaddik is different, you have that. And therefore the ray of the Shekhinah also has tens of thousands of levels. If it's a ziv or Ein Sof, meaning the or is Ein Sof. And if you say or Ein Sof means or of Ein Sof, it's also infinite. Because it comes from Ein Sof. So he says like this. Ma'rabu Masech Hashem. How many million? That refers to Gashmistic world. Ba'godlu Masech Hashem refers to the Ruchniistic worlds.
White car.
Bine, he is Chalkas Achayis. Me'er in Tzavul Choloimus Biribi is Chalkas Mamadreikis. This, that Hashem comes into the different levels of the worlds with many different tainug. Kol chad v'chad lefum shiur delay. So he says like this: this level of multiple levels of godliness coming in each world, that's called Elokim. Plural, like you said before on top of the page. Elokim is Lashon Rabbim. So he's explaining what does Elokim Lashon Rabbim mean. All the various infinite levels of Hana of Elokus in Gan Eden, that comes from Elokim. Because it's different levels. Different levels can be Havaya when you're dealing with Echad. Achdus means only Hashem exists, there's nothing else. So these levels of Elokus that exist, the Shayelamis and all that, is a Nikah B'Shem Elokim Lashon Rabim, Al Shem Ribu Yischalkus, of the many differentiations. Bispash, the Sachayas Momaila, Vihi is Pashtusik Dulasik. That is the spreading out of the manifestation of godliness in the infinite levels. That we should have an understanding of Hashem's greatness. Therefore, in other words, it says like this: when a person works in this world to go to Gan Eden, what are we telling him? You should realize, there's so many infinite levels of godliness over there that you could enjoy. In other words, it's not a one-course meal. It's a large variety of einig, of enjoyment of Elokus that should push a person to want to do more ruchnias.
What does that mean? Ziv, different ziv, different zivs of Shekhinah?
Yeah. Does the sun shine every day the exact same way? If there's more clouds, less clouds, you get this cloud, that cloud, this, but yeah. So why is this any different spiritually?
Is limited.
Yeah, that's why there's so many different levels. In the sun itself, there's no different levels.
Within the sun?
The sun itself is one level.
Right.
Ma'od is one level. Or you have different levels of how much or comes from the Ma'od. Therefore we say, when do you see Magodlu Masecha, right? A Maseh who Godel, that Kshuhu Bir Elikenu. When it's a level of Elokim, then you have Magodlu Marab. Right? What is a city? Composed of many houses. Bottom and the houses mean the combination of many different letters, different stones. Like it says in Sefer Yetzirah, Shtei Avonim Bein Shtei Botim, 2 stones build 2 houses. 3 stones build 6 houses. And then you have the equation for that. But 2 letters, Aleph Beis, can make 2 words. Aleph Beis, Beis Aleph. If you have 3 letters, you can make 6 words. You have 4 letters, whatever, there's an equation to that. The differentiation of letters in Amshacha become a bottom of madregas into many different revelations. Like Seichel comes in to different letters of Machshava. And it's interesting, you can have one Seichel, you could say it in different letters, different words, in the same language. And then you have the way you say it in every different possible language. So it's like the one seichel, the way the seichel is revealed in the various different rays, in the various different letters of machshava and dibur. You could explain the same thing on a child's level. I mean, doesn't understand as much as you explain it to adult. But you're not going to say the same wording to bring out something for a kid, then you're going to do it for an adult. Right? You're saying the same seichel. But because the keli is different, the letters are different. So you have one ray, which, coming from the sun, but there's many, many different facets of that ray, and that's why it's called Ir Elokeinu. So that's why he says, a Moshe who Gadol Hashem, u'mohulo me'ed be'ir Elokeinu. Okay? So now the Rebbe went like this. The pasuk Gadol Hashem u'mohulo me'ed be'ir Elokeinu. Then you have Marabu, Masecha, and Magodlu. Marabu is the physical words. Magodlu, Masech Hashem is ruchniistic arrays, right? So what does it mean? Gadol Hashem. When do you have Magodlu Masech Hashem in ruchnius? When he's in Ir Elokeinu. Elokeinu means diversity, all the various different letters, creations of the infinite worlds. So that is when you see the greatness of Hashem. And therefore, what is a person in a practical level? Says, well, when you daven and you say, Ma'rabo Masech Hashem, Magodlo Masech Hashem, it's not only meditating into how great Hashem is in Gashmis and Ruchnius, but it pushes a person to strive to do more to get those revelations. You can't get those revelations if you don't make the Keli, which is Torah mitzvahs. So therefore, there you have the Ribui. 3 lines in the end of the page. Kach is pashtus, kuzulasi is bar the manifestation, spreading out of godliness. Mischalik bekama b'chinas is chalkus. Is divided into many different levels of Ribui Tanug and Mechol Eilis. In the many pleasures in each world of the 310, was nikra Elokim Lashon Rabim. Therefore, that comes from the level of Elokim. Lashon Rabim, al shem Ribui is chalkus. Okay, so Elokim allows diversity. Elokim allows different pleasures of Elokus. Havaya is not the ray. Havaya is the source of the ray. Over there's only one sun. Over there's only one source. That's why Hashem is Hashem Echad. You can't say, even the Shema, we don't say Hashem Elokeinu Echad, because Elokeinu can't be Echad. Elokeinu is plural. But you have Hashem Echad. In the level of Yud Kei Vav Kei, there's only Achdus, there's nothing else but Hashem. Kedem Shabali Dam Shachar B'chinas Gilu B'Elokeinu. Havaya, it's Elokeinu means, Ir Elokeinu means the way Elokus comes spread out all over the place. Different levels. Each world, many infinite levels, whatever. Havaya is the source of that. That's one Havaya. There's no diversity.
But without actions, we can make Elokeinu into Havaya. And Torah is...
And Havaya into Elokeinu. That the supernatural becomes a nature. Havayu Elokim, maybe Hashem or Elokim that we say, right? That's two things. That Hashem is Elokim and Elokim is Hashem. Hashem or Elokim is the same thing. But you don't say Elokim or Hashem. You say Hashem or Elokim. Which means that a Jew needs to realize, number one, Elokim is really Havaya. All this Rabim, diversity, is only from our perspective, not from his. And secondly, that this level of Havaya is Elokeinu, is really our nature. Hashem Elokim means that the diversity of Elokim, as he explains here, all the various different levels of Tainug and Elokus, the different Ruchniistic worlds and levels in Gan Eden and all that, who knows how much stuff, is really Havaya. Therefore, La'asad Lavai, like the Rambam concludes the Sefer with the pasuk, Umala Aretz Deus Havaya, doesn't say Mars Deus Elokim. La'asad Lavai is going to be the Gitli of Yud Kei Vav Kei. Or even higher than Yud Kei Vav Kei, Ein Eid Mulvade. And that's why La'asad Lavai is going to be not like the Rambam holds. It's a famous machlekes between the Rambam and Ramban. In Kabbalah and Chassidus learns like the Ramban. The Rambam holds ultimate schar cannot be in this world. According to the Rambam, after Tchias HaMeitzim is still going to be Gan Eden, because ultimate schar cannot be in Gashmias. The Ramban, Kabbalah and Chassidus hold, no, the ultimate reward is Dafka in Gashmias. That means Tchias HaMeitzim is the ultimate in Gashmias. Why? So we're not going into it now, because Gashmias brings out the essence of Hashem more than Ruchnias does. Ruchnias has a beginning. Light has a beginning, whatever created the light, the source of the light. If you look at light, you know there got to be a sun that made this light. There's no sun, there's no light. So Ruchnias brings out the Ein Sof of Elokus, that Hashem is infinite. What brings out Ein Lo Tchila, that Hashem has no beginning, self-existent entity? That's only Gashmias. So the ultimate revelation of Tchias HaMeitzim is the ultimate gilui of Elokus, of not only that he's Ein Sof, but actually Ein Lo Tchila.
Feels its source. Gashmi not.
That's why it's Mitziyusim Atzmusi. It has no source. Reality in our world, or any world for that matter, is your comprehension of it. Again, in humans, there's 5 senses, right? Hearing, seeing, smelling, touching, whatever it is, yeah? If it doesn't exist in one of those 5 senses, in our realm it doesn't exist. If I can't see it, taste it, smell it, touch it, hear it, it doesn't exist. Correct? Like we said many times, if a guy walks into an empty room and he says the room is empty, he's saying the truth. He's not lying. In his realm, there's nothing there. Either is air, molecules, whatever it may be. But if he doesn't see it, smell it, taste it, whatever, so it doesn't exist. Correct? Gashmias, which is called Yesh Mi'ayin. Why is it called Yesh Mi'ayin? Since when is Ruchnias Hashem nothing? So the answer is, one of the answers, is from our perspective, we exist. I see me, I touch me, I smell me, we exist. Gashmias exists. What created Gashmias? The source of Gashmias? You don't feel it. We don't know. Have a person come into the world without any understanding whatsoever of anything. For them, there's where did he come about? How did he come about? By himself. Avram Avinu realized, Yesh Balabayis Lebirazu. If there's a world, somebody had to make it. But normally, in our world, if we don't see, feel, smell, taste, whatever, yeah? then it doesn't exist. So Gashmi is basically, from Gashmi's perspective, not from reality, from Gashmi's perspective, what's its source? Doesn't have a source. Right? Ruchnius or feels the source. No source, no light. The light is based on the source. Yeah? But Gashmius doesn't feel its source. That's why it's called Yesh Mi'ayin. Not because God is nothing, because from its perspective, it doesn't realize that there's a God. So therefore, what's its source? Nothing. Now, what level in godliness allows the reality in that thing's perspective that it comes from nothing? The essence of Hashem, which is a self-existent entity and comes from nothing, allows that level of Gashmius to exist. So Gashmius actually brings out the level of godliness that Ein Lo Tchila has no beginning. Ruchnius brings out the level of God that it's Ein Sof, that there's no end, it's unlimited. So that's why the Ramban was a very big Makubal. Rambam was also Makubal, but Ramban was officially a bigger Makubal than the Rambam. And Kabbalah and Chassidus maintain that ultimate revelation of godliness, meaning that Ein Lo Tchila, that level of God, that he has a self-existent entity, manifests itself in Gashmius, not in Ruchnius.
The concept of nothing.
Not yet, it comes by itself. Yesh Mi'ayin. I mean, there's a lot, Yesh Mi'ayin exists in Ruchnius also, but anyway, but relatively speaking, that's the concept.
In Ruchnius, everything has to have a source, otherwise
That even in Ruchnius, Bria is Yesh Mi'ayin from Atzilus. Because compared to the Bittul that Atzilus has to godliness, Bria doesn't have it. It's already an existence of 10 Sfiras, it's existence already of a world. Atzilus is Exile, Batul. It's near Hashem, it's Batul. Like we learned in Paschalio, in Torah Paschalio, the Rabbi explained the 10 Sfiras of Atzilus are just the source of Sfiras. Antu Chakim v'lei b'chachma yediyah. It's not, it's only the source of Chachma. Because it's all Batul to Hashem. So the ultimate is Gashmius. Okay, 112. V'nei mechinas.
after Rabbi said, I don't want this, I don't want that, I don't want you. So
Yeah, that's what it's exactly what he says. I don't want Gan Eden. I don't want Olam Haba.
he says, I don't want that.
Huh?
We just said ultimate sketch.
Olam Haba is also V'nigla Kved Hashem V'rocha Basi Yachtav Kifi Hashem Diver. Umalar is De'at Hashem in a certain level is also a Gilui. A Gilui of the essence, but it's a Gilui of the essence. Whatever. It is what it is. They have bigger problems of understanding than that. That's without the Rebbe. I don't want your Gan Eden. I don't want your Olam Haba. I want just you.
But we just learned eating cholent is more important than
Eating cholent is more important than...
all of it.
Yeah. There's a halachic proof of that.
No, really, I'm talking serious. It's important because
Let me show you something. The world, developed. The world says eating cholent is a proof that eating cholent is more important than shofar. Why? When Rosh Hashanah falls on Shabbos, you don't blow shofar, but you eat cholent. That means Shabbos can accomplish shofar, but it can't accomplish cholent. That shows that cholent is even greater than shofar. Don't take it too seriously, because it's... But eating cholent could be, but not the way we eat it. The pasuk says, "Tzaddik eichel l'seva nafshei." A tzaddik eats for the soul. L'seva nafshi, to fill the soul, not to fill our stomachs and fill our taste palates, whatever. Tzaddik eats for the ruchnius of it. So it's a whole different type of eating. Ideally, a person should eat to connect to the essence of Hashem. One turning of Torah, Tshuva, Ma'asim Tevim, this was better than Olam Haba, because exactly what we're learning. Olam Haba is a ray of the Shekhinah. And mitzvah is connecting to the essence.
That's what the bracha is. When we say the bracha, when we eat.
That means when you say the bracha and you know what you're saying and you mean it and you're thinking taka, that Baruch, I'm bringing down the essence of Hashem into Elokeinu and the Vaya and the Melech HaElam. And that's the purpose why I'm eating it. It doesn't matter what I'm eating, how I'm eating, I'm just doing it because I need to live. Yeah, that eating is okay.
That type of food is not even cold.
We told many times the story that he showed them, Baal Shem Tov showed his Talmidim an ox with a shtreimel. Fur hats. So what happened? There was this chassid, wherever he was eating meat on Shabbos. And he was so much into the meat, b'makom sheretzeinah shel adam shamonimse, in the place where you want to be, that's where you are. The guy was so much in the meat, he became an ox. But the garments of Shabbos don't change. So the shtreimel stayed, but it was an ox with a shtreimel. That's the... Okay, anyway, let's go another minute. He says, Elokim, down here comes the level of Yira. Elokim is Gvura Yira. Like it says in the pasuk, Elokim asa sheyirim milfanav. Or like it says, as Elokim ani yorei. Right? I fear God. There by Yosef says, as Elokim ani yorei. Ksiv as Hashem Elokecha tira. Also, all these levels of Elokim, we find expressions of Yira. Hashem Elokecha tira, Elokim asa sheyirim milfanav, Elokim yorei. He says, Ki b'chinas havaya les machshava tfisa bei. Because the level of Havaya you can't understand. In order to fear something, you need to understand the power of it. One second. A baby doesn't fear something because they have no understanding of what it is to fear. Fear has to come into seichel. What? Yeah, Elokim is midat adin. It's all the same thing. Elokim is gvura. There's two levels of Yud Kei Vav Kei, by the way. We say Hashem Karachum V'Chanun. Yeah? You find many times the Chumash Hashem. Right? Because there's a level of Hashem, Yud Kei Vav Kei, which is one of the 7 names. Like Chesed is Kel, Elokim is Gvura, Havaya is Tiferes. Havaya is one of the 7 names. But then there's what's called Havaya de Le'ela, the higher level of Yud Kei Vav Kei, which is the same Etzem, which is the essence of it all. Not one of the names even. It's the essence, not the way it's manifested in Tiferes or Rachmim or whatever like that.